Good morning, Janet.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Kwa nimeona mtu kama Angela, kwani amehepa?
Juma niko. Good morning.
Mambo. Good morning to you.
Poa sana.
Uko mzima?
Kabisa.
That's good. Shukuru, that's good. I have two screens. Good morning, Kendi.
Juma.
Uko poa?
Sawa sana. Uko poa?
Mimi niko poa. Unaongea ni kama umefichwa mahali ama uko exile.
Jarudi bado.
Ujarudi exile. Unakumbuka exile za kampo vile mtu alikuwa anafukuzwa.
Manzee.
Ulishaifanyiwa wewe huko ikaa hostel huwezi relate. Ushaikaa.
Kwani wewe Juma una relate?
Exile. Hata mimi na relate kidogo. Shida nilikuwa exile kwa nyumba yangu. Unajua ile boy akakuja. Inabidi unaenda hostel. Wewe kuja kwako juu huyo mtu ametravel from far hizo ka hostel.
Pokoleana.
Sasa utadu. Mkoje like
Nakuanga tu hivyo. Covid.
Malin, how are you? Malin kama ameenda kuweka chai.
I'm fine.
Umeenda.
Poa. Unanisikia?
Nakusikia poa. Ndani umeenda kuweka chai by the way.
Nilisha kunywa chai kitambo.
Kimutai amune. Kimutai bado anapanguza macho. So guys, I hope you've had a lovely week, previous week. It's been a week with a lot of movements to the downside of most of our currencies or our watch list. We are looking to see how this week performs. We are hoping that it will be better. For the cryptocurrency traders, this Bitcoin, I'm sure you looking at it, it's been on a downtrend for quite some time after it tried to go up and it was unable. But still a bit positive that at the end of the day, tutafika mahali alafu sasa tupande. Already you can see tumeform a double bottom, but this crypto, anything can happen. So we'll be watching to see how that goes. So on Friday in the morning, we were looking at this currency from Thursday, and we had already predicted for the week. This was the movement for the week, I think, from Monday, and this is what happened. It did hit my take profit. I think Ian's was above this, so but there are some way to go unless Ali cut his profits. Ali shall take his profits manually. And other traders, I believe, niliona kwa group wase wengine wakisema wakiwa na almost a similar setup. So for the GJ, this is what has been happening, and nataka to revise tuangalie tena in a daily time frame. This is how it looks. We're in a very strong support area. We'll be looking to see whether we make higher highs from the area that we are in. However, today we'll be expecting to see some sort of retracement. There is not much news today. Before we continue, there is not much news today. However, the euro has some news and USD, so it might be affected a little bit, but there is no high volatility news. So today is a bit of a safe day to act, except on the evening. On the evening, we might be experiencing some Great Britain pound. Midday. Around midday, around 1 and 2, we might see some movements on the Great Britain pound. Again, we'll be careful on that, but there is no high volatility news. So, that is it for the news. So we'll not be looking for anything bigger. However, we must be very careful. since the market sometimes reacts the way we're not expecting it to. So in Forex chart, you can see it did make a good movement to the upper side. However, it hasn't breached this area of interest that we've been highlighting here. So in case we do breach this area to the upper side, that's when we'll make higher highs, and the first time we'll be looking to see whether we breach this area and even come to this bar that we've been waiting to see whether we'll hit up here. So once we break this area to the upper side, however, tumesema leo tunaona kama tutapata some sort of resistance. Unaonaje Sheila? Hello.
Hey, Juma, good morning.
Morning Kimutai, how are you?
Screen yako by the way. Sijui kama umeshare screen na mimi sioni mwenyewe.
Let me see basi. Naweza kuwa najiongelesha?
Hata mimi sioni screen.
Umenyamaza tu hapo. Na mmenyamaza tu. Nyenyi watu ni wafani. Na sasa mnaoneko.
Sasa iko sawa.
Yaani nimejiongelesha hiyo masaa yote, nyinyi mna visualize hivi itakuwa mnachora tu giza.
Si masaa yote.
Sawa basi. So yeah, to expect it will rise to a point and at least make higher highs. But we'll be very careful to see whether we are able to break this area in the first place. So we're in a very sensitive area. So unless you're holding the trades, this is not the right time to get in until we get a good price action signal to tell us to go up or to make higher highs. Unless anyone has a similar opinion, a different opinion from what we have as at now.
Mi yangu si different. Unajua nilisikia by the way ukisema ati I'm still holding. By the way I'm still holding, bado sijafika target profit yangu. So like on the 4 hour utaona like kuna candlestick yenye sasa hivi tuna trade within. So tumekuwa like na engulfment pia tukianga juu kwa 4 hour. So on the 4 hour nataka ihold kama support zone alafu tuende to juu. Tukimalizana nataka the hit my take profit.
So I hope the rest PM almost na similar nini, but again remember risk management. So in case the trade goes not on our way, because anytime some other news that are not anticipated, sometimes they do happen. Yeah, and like we always say, the market has its own brain, so lazima to be very careful. So on the GU, what do you think about this currency, Ian? What do you think about this specific currency? On a daily time frame, this is how it looks. The GU.
GU by them.
On the daily time frame, this is how it looks. On the week, on the 4 hours time frame, this is how it looks. Amata tungeanza na weekly, and on 1 hour, this is how it looks. So, what do you think about this currency? You tuanze na weekly hata. This is how it looks in the weekly time frame. What do you think about this currency?
Like moso tulikuja to a point ya support zone na tulipata hiyo support ili hold very nice. Like last week hiyo support ili bounce off. Unajua GUP imekuwa na some nice movements tukiendanga like up. So like hadi mimi bado naweza sema siwezi sema for this week because like sijaanza the analysis kabisa, like ni break down the market, but GU last week ilikuwa very nice. It was a nice pair by the way. So for me on the weekly ukiona like tumekuja to a support zone sana. Yani market ilikuwa ina bounce off more so from that point. Tumekuwa tukibounce off sana from that point, lakini ukiangalia like from the daily tulikuwa na very nice candles from that place. Like tulitoka hapo hivyo na some nice movement kwenda juu. So naona leo wanaonyesha like there are some signs kwenda juu, lakini so ukiangalia kwa hiyo daily by the way tulikuwa na engulfment candlestick. So like na ikafanyika like penye tulikuwa pia na engulfment pia na tulikuwa na morning star on the daily. On the daily ukifocus na sana tulikuwa na crucial point. Na pia tulikuwa tunangoja market bounce off that point vizuri. So kulikuwa na engulfment hapo na that point imenipea support. So imenipea support zone at 1.36123 imenipea support because that is the lowest point of that engulfment candlestick. Alafu pia ni nachukua 50% it kama my support zone, lakini juu like the market has been so bullish, naweza sema like nichukue two support zones pia. So another point probably itakuwa kusomea, so like ni 1.36829 kama support ingine. So nikienda on the 4 hour, me what I see on the 4 hour ni where market actually came and actually ilipata some health na tukaona some buyers coming back to the market. So ukiangalia like the market actually tulikuwa tunauza, lakini ukiangalia sasa market penye tunasema ni 1.36 kama tunauza juu tumerudi back to our zone, tuuze tena di 1.36123 where I can see like tuko na support sana juu ukiangalia like the market actually sasa inafanya like on the 4 hour unapata like some bearish candlestick na imewaliuza na actually some volume inside the market. So 1.36123 ni the previous point where tulikuwa na support. So tutakuwa tuna confirm kama hiyo support kwa daily actually is it working, kwamba hiyo daily support kwamba tuliacha kweli support at that zone, lakini tunajua previously it was a very crucial support zone. So for me acha tuzadi hapo chini 1.36123 alafu tuangalia some very buys tena tukirudingi sasa to confirm na to fit at the highest point to create. With the highest point to create actually 1.37521.
So so Angela, unaonaje, anybody with a similar or a different opinion?
Maze.
Well, this is a daily analysis. Doesn't mean me and Ian are the ones who are always right. We would like to hear what you think about that currency pair as well. Now that hakuna mtu anaongea, for me, Ian, I remember on Friday we did look at this. I think it is on YouTube. If you missed, you can check it out. We did look at this and we said that we are looking to see whether we'll make higher highs on the outside, or if we breach to the downside, we'll be looking to test these prices here on the lower side, and no more to that. But I've been looking at this currency. I did look at these currencies on Friday, especially the GU, the Aussie and the EU. And I realized there's some few things that we're missing, and this market would be a bit bearish. If you look at it in the in a daily time frame, you'd see that we are already holding above below this area. So to begin with, we're holding below this area. So we're in that area. That is a very critical area. And we wouldn't say that here we would be looking for buys. If in a daily time frame, if you are still trader, this would be wrong to say that we're looking for to be going up. We'd be looking to go down. And if you look at what has been happening in the market currently, on the daily time frame, Bado, you'd see that you'd see that there is some sort of a trend. Yeah, there's a sort of a trend that tumeshindwa kuhit. So even if you went higher, this is the highest you'd go to hit this trend line. But basically, at some point, you notice that the market is turning to be a bearish market and would be a long bearish market. Again, remember what we always say: when we are in a sort of a consolidation, when we have some sort of patterns, because you can see this is a double top somehow. We could say this is a double top as well. We could say this is a double bottom, this is a double bottom, this is a triple bottom. So there is a lot of patterns. There is a lot of undecisiveness of this market, if I might say. So for me, I think I'm turning the other way. I'm looking to see whether I'll get to break this area actually to the downside. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that that is a daily time frame. In a 4 hours time frame, if we look at it closely, we see that we did come to this area and we were able to breach it to the downside. But again, we have kept attempting it. So the first attempt, because we like to tumeona kwa daily time frame, this is like a triple bottom. So the first attempt, we were unable. We did come back up. We tried another time, we were unable. And then we come back again and we were unable. But remember, this is a double top or a triple top, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, when we try to hit something so much with so much vigor, what does that mean? What does that mean for us? For me, I think it means that we are very persistent and we are very determined to bring that area to the downside. So for me, I'm thinking that the GU might go even lower. But again, like we always say, we'll see first whether we are able to breach that area. If before we do breach that area, it will be not the best place to place our trades. However, we would be targeting that area firstly to see whether we'll breach this area to the downside. So this, if you do get trades on this market, like Ian has said, we'll be looking to challenge this area first. After that, once we breach this area to the downside, that will confirm that we're in a seller's territory and that the sellers or the bears have taken over the market. So we would say that this is a supply area. However, it has taken us very long. So we'll be looking for such a market. But again, it depends. It's up to you, trader. And again, like we said, the market might do anything in between. So we must be very careful. But for me, I'm thinking this market is going to be a bearish market. As you can see, we've been able to make even higher highs, even in the last time. You can see that we did come back right in, yes. We tried to make even higher highs to reach the area that we've been targeting, but we were unable. That means the bears are still very, very, very powerful in this market. Sijui kama tunaona hivyo Ian.
Kuna kuanga na ile principle by there, like the more una knock at that place and the more like unapata hiyo ukuta inaendelea tu kubomoka, so the more na hit inaendelea kubomoka. So niangalia like when wana hit, it's time to hit vizuri na the sellers actually at that point itakuwa very nice for selling. Itakuwa very long bearish market.
Again, interacting with most traders, I think most traders are very bullish in these markets and are anticipating that it would go higher, to make even higher highs, and even in other markets as gold and the EU. And if everyone is buying, then it means we need to sell to them. It means the demand is a bit high. So we will be watching out for that. Yeah, sometimes we always do opposite of, if you want to be successful, sometimes you have to do something different from what others are doing. But not always, because again, remember, most traders that I interact with are simple traders, are retail traders like me and you. Maybe tukipata sasa institutions and banks and the big guys, so our maybe wanaweza affect the market, tunaweza taka kwenda on their way. But on this market, I'm thinking it is a bearish market. We just need to get our entries right, and most of the time, and I think the best entry in this market will be after we do breach that area to the downside. So we'll be looking again to see how it performs. We might even get a consolidation this week before we breach it to the downside. We might breach it to the downside immediately, but we'll be looking to see how it performs. So stay with us and we'll see how it performs by tomorrow. Like I said, in 4 hours, you can see, yes.
Unaona venye umesema like tomorrow, because like tulikuwa on that daily candlestick, like tumepata like, so tuke for like 3 to 4 days to take out that bullish like that, we were really saying like tena sell how much more at that point. So the next coming is tuangalia like actually tunaweza bridge that one. Kama tunaweza bridge that zone within the next 3 days, itakuwa very nice actually. Lakini ukiangalia like the 4th day na tuja bridge that point hapo hivyo, itakuwa very interesting. So like hii market to keep to like on a close watch.
Yeah, so as you can see here, this would be a very good buy in 1 hour. But again, the highest place you can challenge right now is this area. So even if you get into this trade, you will be watching to see whether you get to this area. But again, let's be careful. Inaweza kuwa tumeshaanza kwenda downtrend, and then instead of going up, we do come back right in to challenge this area to the downside. So we have 2 scenarios on the GU. I would like everyone to be very careful on that. And most likely, if the GU does sell, on the other hand, it means even the GJ might not make higher highs like we were anticipating. So we'll also be looking at how the GJ performs, because it might also be in a very strong SNR area, and instead it makes lower or forms a cap or consolidation for that matter. So I think that is it for me with the GU or the Great Britain currencies that we look at. Kuna mtu anawatch Afro Cinema mahali. Sawa, sijui kama kuna mtu ako na a different opinion. I would like to hear your opinion, guys. I mean, we're just creating a way here, but we don't mean that we're right. As you can see, this is a 1 hour time frame in the Aussie. The Aussie has formed a triple bottom, means it also has tried to break this area to the downside a number of times and it was unable. It did come back right in, did hit our trend line, but was unable to go up from that area. It did come and now it is retracing to this to see whether it will be the area to the upper side. But again, remember, like we've said, even if we look at this currency pair in a daily time frame, we'll see that we've been in a seller's territory. We did try to break this area to the upper side, but we did come back right in, meaning that we haven't taken these sellers out. These sellers are still in the market in a daily time frame, that is. When we narrow it down to 4 hours, again, we would say that we had breached this area to the downside, but once we came back right in, we wouldn't say that we are holding above these guys. However, we're still holding above this guy since we have not breached this area to the downside. So we'll be looking to see whether we breach this area to the downside or we breach, or we will be able to msijali nilikuwa sherehe weekend bana. Yeah. So tuone kama tutaweza ku breach this area to the upper side, and if we do, then we'll see whether we breach this area again. So if we do breach this area to the upper side, we'll be looking to see whether we come here. But most likely, like I said, in the GU and the USD currency pairs, I think that this market might decide to sell and give us and retest the lowest price, which actually we haven't. The lowest price in this market. Let me zoom out for this. As you can see, this was the previous lower low. And lastly, when we tried to come down, we didn't reach this area. We didn't break this area. We didn't even touch it. So there's a possibility that if we come down, if we break this area to the lower side, then we might not be even targeting this area. We'll be targeting this area here at the low. So sijui kama kuna mtu akona any other different opinion, but once we do breach that area to the downside, again, we'll be looking for sales. Like I said, we'll be looking to see whether we make even lower lows on this market. And this will be a very good setup. If you realize, if you notice, this is a setup that we look at. This is a setup that we look at. So again, we could say that this is a head, shoulder, and shoulder. So we'll be looking to see how that performs again. So that is a daily time frame. In a 4 hours time frame, this is how it looks. So we have been unable to breach this area to the upper side. Again, we're holding in a very strong resistance area. So there's a likelihood that we may not go upper. However, due to the retracement, we might come near the place and then come back in. So there are two scenarios. We might even make higher highs, but I'm very positive that this is a bearish market now. I've changed my cards. I'm playing bearish. So let's see how this performs. Let's see how it goes. Ian, what do you think about that specific market?
Juma, you are so bearish on it, me because so bullish on it.
It's okay. That's why we're here.
So like Mimi, I've been following closely sana AUD USD. So like nimekuwa na on the daily nimekuwa na two trend lines actually. Niko na long term trend, niko na short term trend line. So like from the daily perspective, ukiangalia like tumekuwa tukiuza. Last week nakumbuka on Monday walisemanga we are selling. Taking notes penye. So on Monday last week tulikuwa tuna sell, alafu tuka target actually tulikuwa na support ya 0.72229 actually. So tulikuwa tunataka ku sell to that point. Unaona like that is the point tulikuwa tunasema tulikuwa na on the 4 hour watasema like tulikuwa na engulfment na market tulikuwa na kwambia tutaki tukuje tu challenge sana that point juu tulipata like some bullish movement tukiendanga juu. Yani ilikuwa the previous higher low. So kutokea hapo hivyo market tumepata like some bottoms. Tulipata actually the market ilikuja retest on the 4 hour. Tulikuja 3 times on that point. Na actually tukapata some bullish movement kwenda up higher. So like 0.72229 actually iliact kama support. But mimi nimekuwa na trend line actually by the way. Sijui kama unaweza kubali ni share my screen. Nikuonesha tu like
Sure. Though hatuna time, so itabidi uharakishe. Have some other things to attend to.
Yeah,
Sure.
just so okay, acha.
Umepata nini ya kushare?
Mnaiona?
Let me stop share mine. Yangu bado ikuji, nasema you have started sharing but sioni. Naona
Ndio
sasa.
Ukiona huku juu niko na a yellow trend line by the that yellow one inatoka much more from the weekly like an analysis pia niko na hapa ndani tuko na mali we had some analysis so like from the monthly niko na trend lines actually niko na trend line tunatoka more so from the monthly so it is like the market from the monthly perspective imekuwa ikisell on the daily pia like actually niko na trend line kenye utaona ni yellow so actually this trend line ni simple tu ni a place where actually inaonyesha like actually the market tuko tunauzanga tukikujanga chini so from this point up juu like nataka hapa hivi the focus iko tu hapa sana like this is an evening star pattern hapa ndo tulikuwa tunauza so much like hapa ni ndo 0.74776 ndio nasema like that is my actually the point kenye na sell mbaya sana like that is the point mimi nasema I'm so bearish on this market so more so on the 4 hour like that point tulikuwa na double top pattern where actually the market ilikuja hapo hivyo ika top no tukapata the selling pressure so penye nilikuwa nakwambia ni hapa sana where actually nilikujanga nikakwambia siku ile like actually the market hapo ilipatanga the support sana like tulipatanga hapa hivi higher low kenye ili creating all this move hapa hivi kujanga juu so when but ukiangalia like actually hapa hivi tulikuwa tuna bottom once twice mara tatu na actually tuka break that trend line ukiona like hii trend line ni an inner trend line alafu na outer na niko na long term kwenye the blue one so like this one tukisha break hii nataka the retest so like tukisha break tusha retest so like nataka this time to take out this one again like this trend line hapa hivi so like nikitake it out this time again itakuwa much more bullish lakini this point hapa hivi ndio niko na point where 0.74102 hapo hivyo naweza sema like nilikuwa na evening star pattern so hapo hivyo ni place nataka kuona ku challenge lakini sana I'm buying because like ime retest my trend line like to break a trend line actually ime retest that trend line that is my perspective too
So I get what you're saying by the way a lot, but again that is why we are here, tuone kama tuko na similar or different views on these currency pairs. For me, tumeanza na daily time frame. Let's look at it from a weekly time frame. This is how it looks in a weekly time frame. What pattern is this? What pattern would you say is? One could say is a double top. One could say it is a cap. One would say it is. There's a lot of patterns. One would say there is. But one thing that is very clear is that we haven't tested the high highs, the previous high highs in a weekly time frame. When we go into a daily time frame, we would get different patterns as well. We'd say that we did form some head, some shoulder, head, shoulder. We'd say that we formed a lot of different other patterns. But one thing that is very clear is that we haven't tested this lower low yet. That is one. Two, for me, Ian, I'm thinking that we did try to breed this area to the upper side, but we did come right in a daily time frame, meaning that these sellers are still in control, if I may say. And if that is true, it means that we haven't exhausted ourselves until we breed this area to the upper side. If we do breed this area to the upper side, then we'll say that we are looking for even buyers, but we haven't done that so far. So I'm thinking that these currency pair in 4 hours chart and in 1 hour's chart or time frame, we might be looking. You see, yes, we were unable to breed this area to the downside, but we haven't made higher highs yet. And especially, you see, I had a trend line here that was indicating the resistance to going upper, and we haven't been able to breach this area to the upper side to say that we'll make even higher highs after we breach this area. So that is the reason why I'm saying this is a bearish market, is because when we look at it in a daily time frame, we see that the sellers are very strong in this area and haven't been taken out. We would say in 1 hour's time frame, we'd see we are holding above this guy. So there is a possibility of what you're saying to get a good retest, but to how long will my retest go? So for today, I might be looking for a good retest, but in the long run, during the week, I might be looking for sales. However, if worse comes to us, we'll be looking for consolidation. That is what I'll be looking for in this currency pair. So the Aussie for me is bearish in the long term, but in the short term, again, we could get some few trades here and there that are buys, but I'm very skeptical that we'll make higher highs in this currency pair. I think this is a scenario that I've once highlighted on a sketch pad, how it happens. I think we can go back once we have time to do so. Today, I do not have enough time to do so, but I think we can look, we'll be watching to see how this performs again, because we are here, we'll be here. So again, every trader has their own view on this currency pair, I'm sure. So guys, if you're confused, the better, because it will make you to think harder on this currency pair. Kadimo.
The market actually should lazima tukuwe na more questions, lazima tukuwe na more than even 50.
So yeah, if I'm not convincing enough on why this market is bearish, and if Ian is not convincing enough in being bearish, and Sheila, Kendi, MM, and everyone, Angelas and everyone, then it means we have a lot to think about in these currency pairs, and that is a good thing, I would say. We haven't had such a scenario previously, and that is why I think it is a good thing. But again, we'll be watching out to see how it performs, and if it does, then if it breaches this area to the upper side, we might be looking to challenge even this area. But if it doesn't, then I might be looking for more sales actually. And once I breach this area, I'll add actually my positions. That is my view on the Aussie dollar. So for the Euro USD, again, I'll go to the same analysis that I did with the GU. I'll see whether we breach this area to the downside. Remember, we were looking to see whether we breach this area to the downside, and we're holding right into that area. So in a 4 hours time frame, I would say that there's not much trades to look at because we're in a very sensitive area. But in the long term area or time frame, in a daily time frame, I'll be looking to see whether I'll get more sales and to breach this area to the downside. As you can see, in a daily time frame, this is how it looks, Ian. We've been in this area for a very long time. We were unable to make higher highs. We actually do have a double top here. I would say we have different patterns. We can see some other people can say this is an M or an inverted W, I don't know. But for me, I think we're in a very critical area in the EU. So we'll see whether we'll be able to breach this area to the downside. But again, like Ian said, are you bullish on this market or bearish? Because we're in a very sensitive area. So we might be retesting to the upper side kidogo before we come back right in and beat the area. So again, it's up to you, because I think the correlation between these markets is a bit confusing at this moment. But I'm sure in the long term, I'm looking for a bearish market for myself. So for you, again, if it's confusing, the better, because we'll think about it. We'll go through about, we'll go deep into it later and see how it performs. Ian, what do you think about that currency pair?
This is the close position yangu, by the way, I'm still selling, I'm still on a position.
Up to where?
Tuendelee tu mimi niko like by the unajua tuko na point. Unakumbuka juzi nikikwambia like our candlestick tunachukua breath, like the market is like I'm selling at the 1.16849, actually in the lowest point ya hiyo candlestick. Tulipata na rami pattern on the 4-hour candles, like on the 4-hour. Like actually hapo ndo market ili abandon the trend. So kama ili abandon hapo the trend last time, actually I want to see like what happens this time. To bridge that point, actually nataka tena to bridge a point lower, like tuko na a support zone sasa ya 1.16629.
Mimi nasema hivyo kwa sababu naona kama tumesha breach the strong support areas that we had. especially on this, because when we're looking at different time frames, again, we always look to the recent support and resistance mostly, or another major resistance. We were unable to breach this area to the upper side, not even once. And now I'm looking, because to may breach these areas, to may breach the first, this was like an SNR area that we did breach to the downside. We did breach this area to the downside as well. And now we are holding around this bar that nilikuwa nimechora hapa. So I think the long-term game for me, it's bearish because we've been able to beat those areas. But again, remember, these are very, very sensitive areas that I'll be looking at. And once I'm not decided on what the market is doing, then the best way to trade is to stay out of the market. That is what I always say. So we'll be watching out to see how that performs. Now, our time is not on our side, so we might not be able to look at everything on our watch list. But again, guys, this is it. We've been looking to see whether oil will breach this area to the upper side, and it did. So today we'll be looking to see whether we get some good retracement before we get back right in and even make higher highs. I have nothing to add on that currency, on that commodity, apart from saying that we'll be looking to see whether we make higher highs. But again, we'll be very careful to see whether we get strong retracement. But yeah, we have hit our take profits finally after we did after tulicheza around hapa.
Easy poa, like bei ya mafuta bado inaendelea kupanda sasa hii.
So I told you, once we breach that area to the upper side, we might be looking for buys, but in the long run, we might not go far before we start looking for other, na sasa tuko in a very strong resistance area. So in the daily time frame, we'll not be looking to see whether we make higher highs, but in the short term, the 4 hours and 1 hour, tutakuwa tuna challenge hii area to make a double top maybe, or even go higher. So we'll be watching out for that. So I would suggest that we stay out of that market for today. Again, kama hukuwa una swing, kama you are not already holding, then it's a very risky area to be. Again, the silver, hatuna time yani, sijui tutafanyaje, ama tunaenda session nyingine, mimi sitakuwa.
Tuko na gapping to between 4.12 na
tuko na gapping, and it's very clear actually. Tuko na gapping in 4 hours time frame.
4 hour, lakini unaona like ni buying pressure. Much more of a buying.
Ndio maana nasema we might come back right in after this, especially because of the gapping, and there's a lot going on in this market, so we'll be watching out for that. So for the gold and silver, let's go for gold because we do not have time to make a double bottom. But again, we haven't retested this area, this trend line to look at measure up. So we'll be watching out for that. Again, I'm very bearish on this market now. So we'll be seeing whether we'll make some retracement to challenge this area before we go back right in, and even challenge the lowest of this spike that we had previously. So we'll be watching out for that as well. I think our time is up for today. If because I know leo tumekimbia kidogo, hatuna time because we have a lot to look at. We have a lot of analysis. Tunaweza create another session later, even during the day or in the evening, to see how these things go. I'ma analyze this deeper before even tomorrow. So we'll communicate, guys. We'll communicate. But for now, it's on a Monday, so take it easy. This is how weeks start. So may the pips be with you guys.
Slow. May the pips be with you.
Bye.
Bye.
Alafu mchangiange, msinyamazange tu hivyo.
Imande watu.